this just might be take 5 in an attempt to do a little kind of talking segment here along with all of the other running video that I have of this latest build. You're looking at a WT Micro 1967 FJ45 4-door. Picked it up from Etsy, of course, like I said, WT Micro over there. And I built it on a ramp grab 7-degree skid chassis. Comes with a brass skid and so on and so forth, crossbar supports and stuff like that. Running Albin designed high clearance links, both front and rear for 150 millimeter wheelbase. Got plenty of clearance too. A little bit of drive shaft contact on the breakovers, but nothing to cry home about. Mortals. Mofo portals on here with no overdrive. And of course that's all attached to a little guy billet transmission, so kind of splurged on the gearbox on this. Excellent gearbox, by the way. Zero play, super smooth. It seems like I made the right choice. And I didn't put any overdrive on this. And if I do overdrive it, it's going to be the front axle, and I'll do it in the gearbox up here so I can kind of control a little bit more instead of doing it at the transmission. I gave it a Mofo Nano BAM, and currently it's running on Lizard Pro 30 amp, but it is the Fire ESC, the one that was in chassis 1, and it caught fire when charging here a couple weeks ago. So it's got a problem with the motor output cable. It seems to it's got issues. I don't really want to go into any details about it. So I've got a Rockwolf AM32 coming to replace that. Currently it's running smooth enough, as you'll see in the videos, or in the running video that's attached on to this. So anyway, what else? FlySky FS-2A running with the GT5. It occupies now position number 7, truck number 7 on that transmitter. With 39 millimeter shocks, oil filled with 1008, and not running any springs on those. And what else? NSD RS100 tucked up underneath there with just a plastic servo horn. The other servo horn is in the other FJ, so I didn't want to go bouncing those around. Injora 62 by 22s, the ATs, which have incredibly soft foams when you get them, and they are definitely tough tires to keep from, just completely folding over on you. So what I did was, these are Chanmoo wheels, I guess that's how you pronounce them, but it was just kind of like some generic beadlock, 1-inch beadlock over at Amazon, which came up with a whole different set of tires, which are on this truck. So I thought just looked perfect on here, and then once I put these Injora ATs on here, I thought that really looked quite the part as well. So the foams that are in these are fairly narrow, and they're incredibly soft, and there was a ton of fold over. And so I discovered once upon tearing a set of scramblers apart that I had used some number 6 gauge bare copper wire wrapped around the inner hubs of those. And so I brought that copper wire over to these hubs, and then I put DJ Crawler 72 millimeter foams in here. So I stuffed some 72s inside some 62s, which of course gives you plenty of sidewall compression, but you still have now plenty of structure that seems to be holding together pretty well, much better than it was before. But you've got plenty of conformity with everything that you are going to need out there. I haven't run it like this since I changed it last night, so the video that you're going to see is basically all of the the softer foams in here, and you can tell there's a major difference for sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that changes up. What else? So I mentioned the copper wire. Oh, fronts actually clocked in after doing all of that and that modification. I got 48 grams on the fronts, and the rears are clocking in at 45. So it was something that I did to those wheels quite some time ago, probably 1.5 years or 2 years ago, and I totally had forgotten all about it. And once I took them apart, I realized that I stashed copper wire in there. And so now it's stashed in these. And what else can I mention here? This also has Treal wheel weights, 7 grams on the inside here. And those are just pressed against the pins. These don't necessarily work with these. If you were to actually seat these all the way down with the short pins, you would close them off against the portals and they wouldn't work. So I figured that they work just fine. And I think I mentioned the Chanmoo wheels. And these are kind of like a bronze tint, but I thought that bronze, along with the chrome outer ring, just really set this thing off. And so also too, if you can kind of see a little bit of the reflection in the rear and also the windshield and the back glass, I went through and hand cut everything out of just some packaging plastic. It's fairly thin stuff. I have also just placed the order for the material that I'm going to use to glue all that stuff in. I am going to try and make some kind of seal, because what I did was I cut those specific sizes to all of these. And let's see what else here. Let's focus on the bed. Check that bed out. That is real oak. And what that's from is just scrap from a job site that I was on last year. And I happened to see that that stuff was being thrown away, and immediately saw that someday that was going to be a bed material for something. I wasn't sure what. So I cut that into strips and stained it with mahogany stain, and that has now been glued down. I have not glued the bed section in here yet. That's something that's going to come down later down the road. So let's open this up for a hot second and show you what the inside looks like. Basically, this whole chassis kit was not for the LCG chassis, so it's mounted up here and secured just simply by 2 screws back on the back, kind of holding this whole hinge piece on the farthest back position right here. I would like to hopefully at some point in time create something that holds it a little bit better, but for now it seems plenty sturdy enough to keep that in place. But pretty straightforward. I used the battery tray from this chassis kit, kind of trimmed some things off and mounted that back here, which of course the radio and everything is sitting right here, and I've got access to the power switch at that spot. Now those new tiny little 400 milliamp hour 2S's, and this is just running 2S, I don't need 3S. Tucks up nice and neat there. I stacked up both magnets here and used a piece of metal stuck to the inside, which gave me my leveled ride height up front. And then I also put a 1/2 ounce of wheel weights up on top of the RS100 to kind of keep that front end a little bit more planted. I don't have scales to tell you which is, you know, what's what on this. I just kind of run them, and, you know, if it looks like it needs more weight, it's going to get more weight. So yeah, that's pretty much about that on the interior here. I did have a little bit of a problem with both screw heads hitting. I managed to get this one changed out to a different screw head. This is one that I have not messed with yet, and I'm not sure that I will. I'll probably just file that down so it's got a little bit of a friction fit, but it doesn't really bother me too much. So anyway, like I said, when it sits nice and level, which I couldn't be any more pleased about. This is really just, you know, the two of them side by side. I love this thing when I got it. I've always been a big fan of Toyotas for starters. These are trucks that you just never really saw that much of in the United States. And so, you know, kind of living in this, you know, 24 scale world that we do, I was like, well, why not just add yet another one of these to the collection? And so really thankful that I got a hold of one of the last 2 that he had up for grabs before he took off and went on break. It seems like he's on vacation. I stopped by there the next day to see something that can actually, anyway, and he was gone. So needless to say, if you're holding out for WT Micro to get back, I'm sure he's going to be a busy guy when he gets back from his little break. Paint on this. What did I do for paint? This is a CMOS from Walmart. Very admittedly, went 3 coats deep on this. I went flat red because I wanted to kind of do some wear marking and stuff like that and reveal some rust underneath, which I've kind of done a little bit of reveal over here. And I'm not exactly sure how much I'll probably do more as time goes on. But then I added a coat of tan underneath, or on top of the red, I should say. That was second coat. And I didn't realize that it was going to be like a CARC type of textured, I should have read the stinking can is what my problem was. And I realized how rough it was going on, and immediately was like, oh my God, I'm ruining my WT Micro here. I've not had good luck with using anything. My problem is that I keep using non-model paint. I keep using stuff that's not Tamiya or not Testers or anything along those lines, and it's my own stupid fault. You know, rattle cans from any place is really, unless you're on a budget and you have absolutely no other option and you must paint your vehicle that day, rattle cans are probably the worst way to go. You really do run the risk of just ruining your RC car. And so very thankfully, I decided to hit it with the green. And once I started putting the green down, I was like, okay, I can live with this. And the texture is once again gonna look okay once it's all done and it's finally weathered. So what I've done was I ordered Forest Service stickers for the sides. Those should be here sometime soon. kind of looking at what time I've got here before we get too much further. I want to include some running video here, so you're not listening to me ramble for 6 days on this thing. So anyway, let's cut to it. While we're at it, you can take a look at how this thing is running. I will have more updates on this and all of the other trucks as time goes on. So thank you very much for watching. If this is the kind of thing that you're into, please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Tips, tricks, suggestions, anything like that. Thanks for all for being here, and I will see you on the next video. Take it easy out there.